Ndi zoo people. Hey, ewo, sorry o, ejo biko, dahala, sorry o. I don't forget say the worst crime in Nigeria now is to abuse somebody. A crime greater than even if you carry gun and start shooting people. Don't abuse anybody. Oh. They will vex for you. They will vex. A crime so terrible. Zoo government and zoo citizens will write to even UK government for your immediate or my immediate extradition and prosecution. Just because some people claim I abused them. So, if you do, for those who are offended, I started by saying zoo people. Sorry, oh. But anyway, it is what it is. This video is actually for those of you that see yourselves as one Nigerians. The so-called detribalized one Nigerian. I want to say this. Some people actually think that these three words are somehow different. Niger with one G. Niger with two G's. Well, is this even Niger or Nigger? Well, this is the word we know as nigger. This one, we know this one as Niger. And even then, some people think this word, nigger, with A at the end, is different from these first two. Some people, upon all the Western education, somehow think that these three words are different. I don't get it. They say they've studied, they look at these words, but who knows if they even know what they mean. Okay. Let's analyze these words. Let's look at them and see what they even really mean. Now, going back into historical records, we know that Western Europeans, especially the Romans, this is where Rome is. The Romans interacted with North Africa with their conquest of Carthage, the Punic Wars. So yes, very early on, the Romans interacted with North Africa. And we're talking as early as even before 500 BC. Because we know that even not just the Romans, the Carthaginians, somewhere around here, the Carthaginians too, on the northernmost coast of Africa, were interacting with West Africa. They sailed all down the coast of West Africa today. Well, when I say interacting with West Africa, not particularly sailing and doing trade, no, but they explored. They knew that there was people here, and the world did not end around the Mediterranean. Now, this Carthaginian expedition, that came to West Africa, we know the name of the person that headed that expedition. His name was Hanno the Navigator. He was a Carthaginian, and he mounted that expedition around the year 500 BC. Now, after him, the Romans started fighting with the Carthaginians, and eventually a Roman general called Scipio Africanus was one of the generals who eventually helped the Romans destroy the Carthaginian Empire and the Punic civilizations in the north of Africa. Here, now, we also know of a guy called Leo Africanus, a Berber, who came to Timbuktu around here in the 1500s, around 1550 AD. Now, Hanno explored the coast of Africa and West Africa in 500 BC. Scipio Africanus conquered the Punic Empire around 200 BC. Leo Africanus, the Berber, from I think he was from either Spain. He was a traveler and a writer, and he traveled to Timbuktu around 1550 AD. He was a Berber, but he lived, I think, in the region of Spain before he traveled to Timbuktu. And it is from this Leo Africanus guy that a lot of history around this Niger River, this River Niger that we know today, stems from. Well, not a lot. Well, it was him that first introduced the history. Well, the information about the Niger River to the Europeans on a major scale. Not that he discovered it or he was the first person to see it. No, but he wrote so much about it and about the Islamic civilization that was in this area at the time. Now, let's look at the word Niger itself and what the word Niger has been used to name for us Africans by foreigners, Europeans. Now, I got this information from ordinary Wikipedia, so it's not as if I had to go download or pay for PDFs or anything like that. This information that's out there, you're 2 clicks away. Google, then Wikipedia, straight. Now, Niger River. Yeah? This is what Wikipedia has to say about Niger River. The Niger River. Niger. French. So the word Niger is French. It's not even English, oh. So the word Niger was original. Well, the River Niger, the name was coined by the French. Le fleuve Niger or Le fleuve Niger or Le fleuve Niger. Fleuve is French for river, and this is the French accent of how to pronounce Le fleuve Niger. So, the Niger River, Niger, the French is a French. Niger is a French word. The Niger we know today, the word Niger we know today is French. Is the French derivation of wherever that word came from. Is the principal river of West Africa, extending about 4,180 kilometers, which is 2,600 miles. Its drainage basin is 202,117,700 kilometers square, or 817,600 square miles in area. Its source is the Guinea Highlands in southeastern Guinea, near the Sierra Leone border. It runs in a crescent through Mali, Niger, on the border of Niger with Benin Republic, and then through Nigeria, discharging through a massive delta known as the Niger Delta. This same Niger Delta. Okay. Or the oil rivers. Okay. Into the Gulf of Guinea in the Atlantic Ocean. This one is just extra information. The Niger is the third longest river in Africa, exceeded only by the Nile and the Congo rivers, also known as the Zaire River. The main tributary of the Niger River is the Benue River, but that's just by the way information. Now, it's interesting to note that before any European named the Niger, we, the locals, we, the indigenous people in the area, already had our own name for it. Even other people from other parts of West Africa, that the so-called Niger, or the so-called Niger River ran through their lands. The Mande people, or the Manding in Manding language, they called the Niger River Jeliba or Joliba, meaning great river. In Igbo, Ndi Igbo, we call the Niger River Orimri or Olimili, meaning great water. The Tuareg from the Sahara, they called it Egeru Igerenwen, river of rivers. We will get to this Tuareg name for it later. The Tuareg called it Egeru Igerenwen. In Shanghai, or the Shongi, the Shanghai Empire, they called it Isa, the river, meaning the river. Ijo, Ndi Ijo, they called it Toru Beni, the river water. That's what it means, the river water. Toru Beni. The Zama people, they called it Isa Beri. Isa Beri. Ijo people called it Toru Beni. Zama people called it Isa Beri, Ri with R, meaning great river. Hausa people, Hausa, not Hausa Fulani, not Fulani. Hausa people called it Kwara. You see the effects of the balkanization of Nigeria, creating all these states, giving it all these obscure and ambiguous names. Kwara. So, why did they call Yoruba land Kwara State? Why did they call a part of Yoruba land Kwara State when they were balkanizing Nigeria? Okay. Because the Yorubas also have their own name for the river. They call it Oya. The Nupe, who are sandwiched between the Yoruba and the Hausa, they call it Edu. Now, the Fulani, they call it Mayo Jaliba. Now, it's interesting to note that at some point during Fulani migrations, they conquered Manding kingdoms, Manding speaking people. Hence, they adapted Jaliba from Jaliba or Joliba from the Manding people. This Maayo probably means river or something. Now, I said we'll get back to this Tuareg word for the Niger. Egeru Igerewen. Okay. So we've seen what all the local people called the River Niger before the Europeans just came and stamped the Niger appellation or Niger appellation on the river for everybody, like it or not. Okay. The earliest use of the name Niger for the river is by Leo Africanus in his Della Descrizione del Africa et delle cose notabili che ivi sono, published in Italian. Yes, sorry, Leo Africanus was an Italian. Published in Italian in 1550. Note this date. This 1550 date. The name may have come from the Berber phrase Ger Nger, meaning river of rivers. This is why I said we should bear this Tuareg name for it in mind, because Tuaregs and Berbers, they are cousins, they are related. So this Ger Nger is what Africanus is so probably heard the people calling the river when he was in Timbuktu. And it's also interesting to note that there have been a lot of corruptions of this phrase Ger Nger, which means river of rivers in in some Berber language, and it has been corrupted into Ger by some other groups and Nger by some other groups. Ger, G-E-R, and Nger, N apostrophe G-I-R. Now, as this is another interesting thing to note, as Timbuktu was the southern end of the principal trans-Saharan trade route to the Western Mediterranean. Sorry, let me start again. As Timbuktu was the southern end of the principal trans-Saharan trade route to the Western Mediterranean, it was the source of most European knowledge of the region at that time. That's 1550 AD time, when Leo Africanus was exploring the area. Medieval European maps applied the name Niger to the middle reaches of the river. Medieval period of Europe, that's from 1400s AD to 1500s, in some places 1600s AD. So medieval European maps applied the name Niger to the middle reaches of the river in modern Mali, but Kwara to the lower reaches in modern Nigeria. So back in those medieval times, the explorers back then thought it was two rivers. So the part of the river in Niger, they called it Niger. The part of the river in Nigeria, they called it Kwara. Okay. So in Nigeria, even though they knew Niger as the name of the river in the Berber regions, in the Chadic regions of Mali and all those other places that Europeans first came across, all this region that Europeans first came across as they were exploring into Africa, they knew it as whether Niger or, well, they coined Niger, but the people there knew it as Ger or Nger or Ger Nger. But they also knew this river back then as Kwara in this area, Nigeria, because they thought it was two rivers. This is the Niger flowing like this. But in one section in Nigeria, back then, because they thought it was two rivers, they called this river Kwara. Here, in the Chadic regions, in the Shanghai Empire, they called it Ger. Okay. So, in the but they called it in the modern they called it Niger in the modern Mali, but Kwara in the lower reaches of modern Nigeria. As these were not recognized at the time as being the same river, like I said, when European colonial powers began to send ships along the west coast of Africa in the 16th and 17th century, that was when they finally now realized that the two rivers were actually one. Okay. Now, like I said, a lot of people think these three words are three different words. They don't actually realize these three words are the same. They mean the same thing. These three words have the same origin. These three words are talking about the same thing. If you didn't know, just listen, follow. Now, so we've covered Niger River. Remember, I said it was of French, or they said it is here from French, Niger, French. Okay. Now, the second word, nigger, Nigga. Some people think that because there's two G's in this word and it ends in an A, somehow is different from this word that has one G and ends with ER. Okay. Nigger is a colloquial and vulgar term used in African American vernacular English. It's interesting how they've ascribed it to African American vernacular English as if we invented it. We're calling it to ourselves as slangs. But no. Eventually, yes. In the in the 60s and 70s, during all those Martin Luther King human rights movement, because the whites in America had used that name to dehumanize and denigrate them so much that they eventually adopted it in an attempt to own the name, to blunten the effects of what the white Americans were using that name to do to them. They were trying to own the name to blunten the effects of what the white Americans was using that name to do to them. That's why the African Americans themselves adopted it to what they're now calling today as vernacular, African American vernacular English. So, nigger is a colloquial and vulgar term used in African American vernacular English that began as a dialect from the word nigger, nigger, Niggr, Niggr, which for some reason, some people, albeit educated at that, still think that this word nigger, because it has two G's, is different from this word Niger, because this one has one G. So for some reason, they think these two words are different. Okay. So it's a term used in African American vernacular English that began as a dialect form of the word nigger. So they're now saying nigger, as in Nigga, is African American dialect. But at least they are still acknowledging that the original dialect is nigger. That began as a dialect form of the word that already existed, nigger, Nigger. And it continues, an ethnic slur against black people. It is commonly associated with hip-hop music. Oh, okay. They're now trying to say it's part of our culture, this word nigger. But we're not dragging nigger as in Nigga for this video. Sorry. In dialects of English, including standard British English, that have non-rhetoric speech, that have non-rhetoric speech, nigger, Nigger, and nigger, Nigga, are often pronounced the same. They are not spelled the same, but they are often pronounced the same. Nigger, Nigger, and nigger, Nigga. Okay, let's continue. So now let's look at the word nigger itself with Nigger. And again from Wikipedia, but you see, cleverly, just to program your mind before anything, to set the scene for your mind before anything. Whoever wrote this write-up in Wikipedia first of all gave you some sort of notice saying not to be confused with Negro. Nigger. Nigga. But we just read in the last page that nigger and and nigger originated from the same place. But now they're telling you not to be confused with nigger, Nigga, Niger, Niger, or Niger, whichever way you choose to pronounce it. They actually there's Niger Republic and Nigeria, Niger area. So it's not to be confused with the country Niger or the state Niger, Niger State in Nigeria. Okay, so this is what they're telling you. That you shouldn't confuse them, even though over here they've just told you that nigger was derived from nigger with GGER. Nigger with GGA was derived from nigger with GGER. Now they're first of all, you see how they play with your head like tennis. Bo, bo, they slap it here, bo, bo, just slapping it around. Now they've told you not to confuse Nigger with Nigga. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, so in the English language, the word nigger, Nigger, is an ethnic slur used most often against black people, especially African Americans. Used most often against black people, especially African Americans. Now, it's funny how they also named West African countries. It's funny how they also named West African countries where they got the slaves from that they call African Americans today. The countries of Niger Republic and Niger area, Nigeria. They still linked them with nigger, with Niger or whatever, however you want to call it. But they are telling you here that is mainly especially for African Americans. But then they got these African Americans from Niger Republic area, Niger area, and they are telling you it's just for African Americans though, but somehow it's still linked to them. It's still linked to Nigeria and Niger Republic. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, so it's an ethnic slur used most often against black people, especially African Americans, because it is considered extremely offensive. Extremely offensive. That's what they used to name your country for you. An extremely offensive racist slur. Okay. Because it is considered extremely offensive, even if only mentioned and not used as a slur, it is sometimes referred to by the euphemism, the N-word. The N-word. Well, I don't need to. If in case you don't know, the N in the N-word is nigger word. Okay. It is also used with more neutral meaning from African Americans, primarily as nigger. You see? It is also used with a more neutral meaning amongst African Americans who are originally West Africans, though. These people, primarily as nigger, Nigga. This spelling of nigger, Nigga, reflects the pronunciation of nigger, Nigger, in non-rhotic dialects of English, particularly black vernacular English. Okay. Now, This word, nigger, Nigger, originated in the 18th century. Now, remember Leo Africanus in the 1550 AD. He had already spread the lexicon to Europe by being the first person to write about it, about the river Niger, and call it the name Niger. And also remember that the area where the river Niger flowed through, especially the delta region of the area of the Niger River, this southern part of Nigeria today, is where most of the slaves were gathered from. That's where they were kidnapping most of the slaves from. The area around the Niger. Okay. But let's finish before we so by the 18th century the word nigger had been formed. And remember, nigger is an English word. England, remember, you are all of you in this region of Nigeria, you are the ones that Britain was colonizing. You are the ones that Britain was colonizing. And nigger, Nigger, is an English corruption of the word Niger, Niger. If you still think those two words are two different words, oh boy, I don't know what kind of school you went to, but sorry, your parents just wasted money. Okay, so in the 18th, the word originated in the 18th century as an adaptation of the Spanish word negro, a descendant of the Latin. Remember, Leo Africanus was from Italy. A descendant of the Latin adjective Niger. Niger. This same Niger that we're answering the French version of it today, which in Latin means black, but Niger is the adjective of Nero or Negro in Latin. But the adjective of it is Niger, which means black. And remember, English is a Latin language. English originated from Latin. So if you're still if you still can't connect all these things, then maybe the brain cells you have in your head are not linked together. Okay. Over time, it took on a derogatory connotation. And by the mid 20th century, particularly in the United States, its usage by anyone other than a black person had come to be generally seen as a racist insult. Hi, you see how they phrase this? Its usage by anyone other than a black person has come to be generally seen as a racist insult. Okay, so they were using it to racially abuse us before. And then in the 60s and 70s, when black people tried to own the word themselves, obviously we're trying to dampen the effects of that word. And we're calling black Americans, they would call each other nigger. Didn't mean they wanted anyone else to call them nigger. But they're now trying to use that to say that, to make it look as if black Americans have accepted it amongst themselves and it's part of their culture. It began to disappear from general popular culture. Accordingly, it began to disappear from general popular culture. They replaced it with the N word. You see, this N word here, that's what they replaced it with. When they were now trying to hide everything. Because obviously, they don't want. I mean, yeah, they'll call you a nigger and all that, but they don't want books of today to still be writing nigger, because that slave history they want the whole world to forget about, because they're afraid of compensation and reparation. That's why they're trying to sweep the word nigger, Nigger, under the carpet. That's why they're telling you here now. It began to disappear from general popular culture. But why they're even doing it and not even trying to even change names like Niger Republic and Niger? Because they know black people. If we couldn't see it since they gave us those names till today, then we probably won't see it even. And even after this video, some people will still argue. Some people will still say, some people even go and check the Wikipedia page and come and tell me that I'm just talking nonsense, I'm just this, I'm just that. But anyway, let's continue. So in its inclusion in classic works of literature has sparked controversy. And yeah, I asked, so why did it begin to disappear? Because they were trying to hide the crime of why they were calling people niggers, which was slavery. But for some reason, some of those people they were calling niggers, who they actually named countries for them based on nigger, Niger, Nigeria, they can't see it. They can't see it for some reason. Anyway, etymology and history of this word nigger, Nigger. The variants Neger, Neger. You see, so come, how many different types of this word now have we seen? So there's nega. There's also number 5. Number 4. There's Neger, nega, and number 5, Negar, nega, derived from various European languages. So, so, so basically, different European dialects have different names for this. And I'm sure some of you will see these things now and think all 5 were 5 different words. You see yourself? So the variants nega and negar derived from various European languages words for black, including the Spanish and Portuguese words negro, meaning black, and the now pejorative, which means kind of like, like some sort of bad connotation. Pejorative French, nègre. You see, even the word negro itself, the word negro. Even the word negro, nègre, by French, Nero by modern Italian. I mean, so look at the difference. Do these 3, are they now meaning different things just because they are written differently? So how can these 5 mean different things just because they are written differently? Okay, let's continue. So, including the Spanish and Portuguese word negro, meaning black, and the now pejorative French nègre. The I entering the spelling of nigger, Nigger, from those familiar with the Latin etymological negro, noir, Noir, negre, Negre, and nigger, Nigger, ultimately derive from nigrum, Nigrum, the stem of the Latin word nigger, meaning black, pronounced nigger, Niger, that they used to spell Nigeria for you and Niger Republic. Nigger with a trilled R, meaning the R is highlighted. Nigger, in Latin. Look at the same spelling here. Niger, nigger, Niger, whatever. Niger, nigger, however you want to pronounce it, is the same spelling. And we are reading about nigger, Nigger, that they said to you is English language. But we also know that English was born from Latin. And somehow, some people think all these words are different. Okay, let's continue. With the thrilled R, ultimately derived from nigrum. That's all these words: negro, noir, negre, Niger. Nigger, Nigger. Ultimately derived from nigrum, the stem of the Latin word nigger, Niger. Black, pronounced nigger, abi Niger. Niger, with the thrilled R at the end. In every grammatical case, grammatical gender, and grammatical number, besides nominative masculine gender, nigger is followed by a case ending. Niger. Another one. Another one. 6. Niger. Hey. Hey. Okay. Oh. In its original English language usage, nigger, Nigger, then spelled nigger. Hey! Hey! This one don't pass smoking gun. let me cough, please. Sorry. This one don't pass smoking gun. No. Wait. Let's start again. In its original English usage, nigger, meaning that this nigger is not even the original word or the original spelling. In its original English language usage, as in how they originally used to use it, nigger with the spelling Niger, then spelled that back then when he was using it originally, then spelled Niger, Niger. Niger. Did you hear that? So all they did was just to add a second G, and they confused everybody. They confused all of you. They just added a second G, and some people thought that somehow Niger was different from nigger. Then spelled Niger or nigger with one G was a word for, listen, was a word for dark-skinned individual. Remember, this word was originally an ethnic slur used most often against black people. Can you see? Nigger was originally spelt Niger, what you call Niger today, that you are shouting your Nigeria and Niger Republic. Nigger was originally spelt Niger with one G before they added a second G to confuse all of you. That you think somehow, because there's a second G in this one, is a different meaning from this one G. And they were using it to describe dark-skinned individuals. When it first, and the earliest known published use of the term dates from 1574 in a work alluding to the niggers of Ethiopia. That's what we call Ethiopia today. The niggers of Ethiopia, bearing witness. 1574. They've been calling us niggers. This nigger, this Nigers here, they are not talking about Niger. They are talking about the niggers of Ethiopia, which is what they used to call Africa back then. What does the river of Ethiopia mean for a book? Is the Niger River the river of Ethiopia? Does it spread across the whole of Africa? No. They are talking about the niggers, Nigers of Ethiopia, bearing witness. It was a book written in 1574. Look at it here, 1574. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the first derogatory use of the term nigger, now the English version of it, Nigger. So even before this, they added the second G and it became nigger, Nigger, was recorded 2 centuries later, after they started using nigger with one G. So the first time they used nigger, Nigger, was in 1775. Literally 199 years after they started using nigger with one G. It was 200 years later. Before Nigeria ever existed, though. Before the Nigeria ever existed, Nigeria came into existence or Nigeria first got mentioned in the history books around 1850, in mid 1850s. 150 years before Nigeria existed, they were already calling us niggers. Okay, let's continue. In colonial America in 1619, a guy called John Rolfe used neggers, the this one, this spelling neggers, Negar, in describing the African slaves shipped to the Virginia colony. Later, American English spellings of negger, Neger, and negger, hey, and negger, Neggar. See how they're just playing your head like tennis. They'll add one word, remove one word, change one vowel, add another similar sounding vowel, and you think it's a different word. Later American English spellings, negger, Neger, and negar, Neggar, prevailed in the New York under the Dutch, because the Dutch were the first people to colonize New York back then, and in metropolitan Philadelphia, in metropolitan Philadelphia's Moravian and Pennsylvania's Dutch communities. So this is what Nigger with Neger and Nigger with Neggar is what the Dutch were calling us, or calling the niggers. Right. The African burial ground in New York originally was known by the Dutch name of Begraafplaats van der Nigger. Begraafplaats van der Nigger, Neger, meaning cemetery of the Negroes, or the Negro. An early occurrence of Nigger, Neger, in Rhode Island dates from 1625. Lexicographer Noah Webster. A lexicographer is someone who studies, just words generally, the words that make up a language generally. And he's studying negro, all of them. Lexicographer Noah Webster, whose eponymous dictionary, which did much to solidify the whose eponymous dictionary did much to solidify the distinctive spelling of the American English, suggested the Nigger spelling in place of Negro in 1806. Wow. So an American was arguing that because back then they also, well, in the American English dictionary, or in the English dictionary largely, they also knew black people as Negroes. But some American was even suggesting back then that they should remove the word Negro and replace it with nigger. Hey! Hi! Anyway, let's continue. So, I mean, we look at all this now, and so you wonder, so why did they call this place Nigeria? And why did they call this place Niger? Yes. Why did they call this place Nigeria? And why did they call this place Niger Republic? I mean, okay, first of all, we know that this is the river. The river flows primarily this way into Nigeria and into the delta. This is the river Niger. So yeah, we know this. Now, we know that thanks to Leo Africanus, when he came to Timbuktu in the 1550s, Europeans largely began to identify this river as Niger, even though from here they knew it as Kwara, which is what the local Hausas knew it as. So we also know that this part of Nigeria is where most of the slaves were carried from the lower middle belt all the way down south, Yoruba land and Igbo land. These were all the slaves were carried from. And with time, they started calling the whole river, from the 17th, 18th century, they started calling the whole river Niger. And I don't know if you guys know, but this area I've just shaded in orange is the nucleus of the black world. This is the part of the whole. This, when they say Nigeria is the most populous black nation, the South alone is the nucleus of the black world. Is the most. No, the concentration of black people here is the densest of any concentration of black people anywhere in the world. They say one in 4 Africans is a Nigerian. That means 1 in 4 Africans comes from here. Now, if you divide that by, say, 2, that means 1 in 8 Africans comes from southern Nigeria. Now, they say 1 in 5 black people comes from Nigeria. That means about 1 in 9 black people comes from southern Nigeria. I'm saying this so that you understand that this is the nucleus of the black world. And this is why the slave trade largely happened here. This is where they could get the most slaves from, because this is where the most black people were. This is why the slave trade happened here. This is why it largely happened here. And and because like I said earlier, the name Nigeria was not coined by Flora Shaw. They'd been using Nigeria in their history books. I saw a history book where a European explorer came to the space called Nigeria. He wrote Nigeria in his book, and this book was written in the mid 1800s. It was what they referred to when they were going to do business, that they were going to the Niger area or Nigeria. Flora Shaw only officially called it Nigeria because that's what they all knew it as. But why did they call it Nigeria? They called it Nigeria because the main business they were coming to do here was slave trading. Slave buying. Buy slaves, sail to America to go and sell. And because the main natural feature they knew this whole area by was the river Niger. You know, like how you call someone that comes from maybe well, as they say, someone that comes from the English Isles, you call him an Englishman, because yeah, he comes from the. So this is the same thinking they had when they were naming us niggers, because they were taking us from the area around the Niger, or the Nigger River, whatever. This is the same mindset they had when they called us niggers. This word, they started calling us niggers. Well, the British, when they colonized the space, but they'd been calling us niggers long before Britain came to colonize the space. This word, Britain started, and the Americans started using it to describe black people. Right. So, so if you think that because the French tell you that this is Niger, that is somehow different from the English telling you it's Niger. that they are not the same words or that they mean different things, I'm sorry. I don't know where you went to school, but I think you need to go and collect your money back. I mean, you even when you try and analyze why they give you the name Niger Republic and Nigeria, you could clearly see that it was almost as if they were naming a slave camp. First of all, nigger is already derogatory. They are creating it. Then that's one. The word nigger is derogatory, and it's a name they've given you. Then two, they are creating a country for you. Why not name it the Niggers Republic? Republic of Niggers. That's the French. Niger Republic. Then for the English, the English with their stiff upper lip, with their nose up in the air, they couldn't even afford us something like Republic. No, they just get called an area. Niggers area. Aye. England. Aye. The French, at least, they call them Republic. Yeah, the nigger country. But Britain, to show you that they were still seeing Nigeria as a slave camp, they couldn't even give it anything that will remotely begin to seem as if, Nigeria was a country. Nigeria is not. If you think Nigeria is a country, sorry, again, you need to go and ask for the money you paid for school fees back. How can someone name you based on a racial slur and you believe that that name for a country should actually stand? Now, it's important to bear in mind that this region, this Sokoto somewhere here, this capital of Niger somewhere here, it's important to bear in mind that all this region and then into Ilorin and some Nupe land, some parts of the middle belt, and then all this region are lands that Fulani have conquered. When the French, literally around about the same time the French and the British were here. Now, why did they also? Why were the slaves they were getting from Niger Republic? Now, if you look at the map of Hausa land actually extends. Let me use another pen. If you look at the map of Hausa land is actually very massive. Hausa land is sliced between Niger Republic and Nigeria. That's why you find Fulani in the two, because Fulani conquered the Hausas generally. And this place became the center of world slave trading when the Fulani were controlling it. This green zone here became the center of world slave trading, slave raiding, kidnapping, gang raping. Everything you see going on in the zoo today was going on here in the 1800s. Thanks to the Fulani. Remember, they came into Nigeria 1804, conquered the Hausas, took over the slave business from the Tuareg, this is where the Tuareg are around this region. Took over the slave trade from the Tuareg and started conquering, sending slave expeditions into the south. So, let me tell you something. In a Fulani man's ear, when he hears nigger, to him, they're not talking about him. He knows that the British were calling these people niggers. He knows that. So when he hears nigger, he doesn't give a shit. It's you that the name nigger applies to, you from the south here, and African Americans. Now, I mean, it's still extraordinary to me that just because they added one G and removed one G, changed changed the sound. So people actually think that these two words, nigger with two G's and Niger or whatever with one G are different. It's hard for me to understand, to be honest. I mean, it just shows many of you don't even understand the English you're speaking. Yes, you're speaking English. Yes. But you don't really understand what you're speaking. English is not your mother tongue, I know. But yet, you act as if you understand it. Even without taking time to analyze it. Analyze what you're saying. Analyze the sound of, this word I'm saying. You don't even take time to do that. But you just be blotting out English as if you know what you're talking about. And why did they even name... If you think naming Niger Republic is about the Niger River, what? Look. Okay, yeah, you can say, okay, since the Niger River flows, a huge part of it flows into Nigeria, and it has a massive delta as well, a very massive delta area. So you can even understand, okay, if maybe they were trying to use the name Niger to name Nigeria. But how do they name a country this size, Niger Republic? But meanwhile, the River Niger only flows through a tiny section of the place. Why? Do you think this name, Niger, is about the river or the people? The niggers? Hmm? Do you really think this name, Niger, is about this river or the people? Please, talk to me. Hmm? Okay, let's continue. I mean, look at the small section. Look at the tiny part of the Niger River running through Niger. Then they now call all this place or everywhere Niger Republic because of this tiny section of river. Hey. I mean, why don't you guys even try asking, all you one Nigerians, why don't you try asking a white person, an Englishman, ask him, what's the difference between nigger with one G and nigger? Or okay, what's the difference between Niger with one G and nigger with two G's? And see what they tell you. Ask them. If you know any English people, ask them. See what they tell you. And if you don't know, they know what it means. OYIBO people know. Me, I've asked them. And when I ask them, they will give you the most meaningless Maradona answer ever for the ones that want to talk. And when you see how they are dancing around, it will become clear to you that they know what those two words mean, or what that fundamental word means. They know very well. When you see them dancing around the answer, okay. The only reason why they won't even tell you the meaning, like blatantly, that look, these two words mean the same thing, it's a slaughter. It's just they don't want to hurt your feelings. That's all. That's all. They just don't want to hurt your feelings. Okay. Can you imagine? They've confused they've confused all of us with simple ABC. ABC. 1G here, 2G there, R or A, E or E. That's all they used to confuse us. Sound. Can you imagine? And when Lagwaja tells Nigerians that Nigeria is a nation of 200 million Mumu, people will be vexing. Somebody will tell you you're an animal in a zoo. You extradite him, Interpol, you terrorist, this, that, just because he told you that you are reasoning like an animal. And some of us, like I said, even after seeing this video, even after going to Wikipedia to check for yourself, some of us will still be hell-bent that they must be Nigerian. That they must die Nigerian. Hell-bent. Ready to fight, ready to kill, that they must be Nigerian. Even from the south, that the thing is aimed against. Even from the south. If you ask me, it's even better to say you're from the zoo. Because at least the zoo, yes, is a slur name. But at least now I named myself Zoo. As opposed to Nigeria, the somebody on his own, somebody who is not even a Nigerian, no, he doesn't like me. He coined a slur word, the worst slur word he could possibly coin. And then not only used it to name me as a nigger, he also used it to name my country, Niger area, Niger Republic. So it's better for me to say I'll call myself Zoo, to say I'm from the zoo. That's if you choose to be and die one Nigerian. Tell people it's better for you to tell them you're from zoo. Me, I'm a Biafran. There's no going back from that. But in fact, I've actually done this a few times. White people have asked me, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from the zoo." You need to do that and see the look on their face, because some of them knew exactly what I was talking about. When I told them I was from the zoo, they knew exactly. Someone will ask you, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Then you explain. I now explain to them how Britain came to my land and created a glorified zoo, a giant meat grinder. And today, me and my people are tired of Britain's bullshit, and we're trying to get away and create our own country called Biafra. This is what I tell them. This is what I tell white people. Yes. By the time I finish, they don't have anything to say. Yeah, so for those of you that still think Flora Shaw gave you the name Nigeria, oh god. Britain and the zoo government, they know what they were doing when they took history away. They knew just blind everybody. Let me tell you the effects of your history being taken away from you. Your history being taken away from you is a good way to understand what the effects of that is like. Imagine waking up from a coma just now. You've been in coma for, I don't know, maybe okay, you're a 30-year-old. You've been in coma for some time. And then you wake up and you can't remember every single thing that happened before you woke up from that coma. You can't remember anything. You can't remember your name. You can't remember where you came from. If you have brother or sister, where your mom, you don't know nothing. That's what your history being taken away from you is like. Memory loss. And some of you think Nigeria, Flora Shaw woke up one morning in 1914 and thought, it'd be good to call this place Nigeria. No, like I just told you earlier in this video, they have been writing the word Nigeria in history books in the 1800s, 1850s, 1860s, written by explorers and slave traders when they were coming to Nigeria to come and put order for slaves. Did you know that they used to come, Britain used to come to Badagry, Eko, Lagos. Now, journey up to Sokoto, here in the north, journey all the way through Lokoja, go to the Sultan's palace and put order for slaves. They used to come and order slaves. Because Britain couldn't sail enough men down to be slave raiding. Yeah, they did, but it's not enough to fill up their ships. So they used to order from the already established slave raiders in the region then, which was the Sokoto Caliphate and some of their Middle Belt allies. When they put order, this one now called is Emir of Nupe, Emir of Kotangora. Yeah, where's your yearly levy of slaves? Those ones now start mounting slave raids down south to come and catch us. And after catching us, they will march some back to Sokoto for the Sultan to take to the Arab world. And then they will march some to Badagry, and sometimes, to Badagry, Bonny, all those places to sell to the waiting British ships off the coast. The Fulani were the ones doing the main slave raiding. And like I said in many of my early videos, you cannot slave raid unless you have an organized army, an organized structure, hierarchy. And let me tell you the origins of the Nigerian army. When Britain first came to colonize the space, no more slavery now, they just wanted to colonize and exploit the space. They quickly conquered Yoruba land. After conquering Yoruba land, it was even quicker to conquer Fulani land or Hausa land, because all they did was from Lokoja, they just went straight to the Sultan's palace. Half a day's battle, they subdued the Sultan. But after subduing the Sultan and his army, I remember this army was already slave ready. They had about 16,000 men strong with horses and muskets. This is what you use to slave raid. You cannot slave raid with machete and bow and arrow. You can't. You need superior force, guns, muskets at least, horses. Fulani are the only people in the space, after they conquered the Hausas, they are the only people in the space in Nigeria that had that capacity. The Yorubas to a degree, and the Yorubas did slave raid, their Obas, slave raided some of their people, but nowhere near what Fulani did. Nowhere near. Now, when Britain subdued the Fulani Caliphate, what became the Nigerian army was this original Fulani army of 16,000 men on horseback and with muskets. This was what immediately converted and became the Nigerian army that is still killing you today. Why do you think the modus operandi hasn't changed? How many wars has this army fought outside to defend Nigeria's territorial integrity? Other than their wars, always fighting inside, killing the citizens, like they were capturing the citizens and selling to slavery on behalf of the same British, who they are killing the citizens today on behalf of the same British to hold Nigeria together. Do you know that the Nigerian army had been that this conquest of Sokoto was around mid 1800s, let's say 1850 something. Let's say 1850. This, and do you know that Nigerian army is 59 years old, or either was it something like this? Okay, yeah, Nigeria is 60 years old now. Yes, so the Nigerian army is 163 years old. The Nigerian army is 163 years old. Around the same, that means it was coined around the same time British conquered Fulani. But Nigeria is 63 years old. Why? This means that they've been calling the place Nigeria long before your Flora Shaw and all those places, or all those people. Why would the Nigerian army, there was but they've removed the website now. There was a time Nigerian army came and celebrated 163 years old anniversary. Why? When the country is 63 years old. Zoo. Ndi zoo. You know what? Ndi Nigeria. Ndi one Nigeria. From now on, henceforth, I am within my right. Since you guys don't like zoo, you don't like which other one runs you guys crazy? Monkeys. You don't like all those names. From now on, I'll be calling you nigger. I'm within my right to call you nigger because that's what Nigeria is. Nigeria is nigger area. I mean, call it Niger, call it nigger, call it Niger. It's up to you. But me, how my own tongue pronounces it is nigger area. So I am within my rights. Please don't vex for that one. You just be vexed. That's just throwing tantrum like baby. If you don't want zoo, then I'm calling you nigger area because that's what it is. Nigger area. That's how my tongue pronounces it. Nigger area. Don't come and tell me Niger area or why is it not Niger area? Why is it Niger area? Why is it not Niger area? I mean, because that's what you actually are. You're a nigger. If you're from Nigeria, you're a nigger. If you're from nigger area, you are a nigger. Unless any of you can actually come up and tell me how the word Niger is different from the word nigger, and break it down to me with tangible proof and evidence how these two words are somehow different, Niger and nigger, then maybe. So from today, to me, you're all niggers. Or let me ask you, are you a nigger? Igbo man, are you a nigger? Yoruba man, are you a nigger? Hausa man, are you a nigger? Even Fulani, are you niggers? Well, why are you calling yourself Nigeria if you're not niggers? Anyway, listen. Let me just tell you guys something. This is a map of Africa identifying all the countries that have secessionist movements ongoing in Africa today as we speak. This is another map with Africa in all the regions. Every region has at least 10 secessionist movements. The West region, the North region, the Central region, the Eastern region, the Southern region. They all, the Southern region, they all have at least 10 secessionist movements. Look. There's 54 countries in Africa. There's 54 countries in Africa today. Or I think 55 because of South Sudan. Yeah, 55. Do you know that there are 45 secessionist movements? 45. There's see, let's start from the top. There's secessionist movement in Morocco. There's secessionist movement in Algeria. Let me be circling it for you guys. There's secessionist movement in Morocco. There's secessionist movement in Algeria. This Sahrawi Republic already is a secessionist movement. This is where Fulani originally is from, this Sahrawi Republic, before they migrated down south and started crossing across the Sahel, all the way to all this Somalia. All these countries, there's Fulani in all these countries they are across the Sahel. But they are originally not indigenous to any of them. This is where Fulani originally come from, the people that gave birth to Fulani. This is where they are from, Sahrawi Republic. They are fighting for Morocco. They are fighting for freedom from Morocco. But instead of Fulani, all of them, as they are shouting, all of them should come to Nigeria and steal Nigeria. Instead of them to join together and go and fight for their own country. No. They want to steal somebody else's land. And the irony is, the people that are stealing their own land are their fellow Muslim brothers. Morocco. That already has another secessionist movement in it. Anyway, there is secessionist movement in Senegal. I think maybe the Wolof people or something. There's secessionist movements, 2 in Ghana. One in the center of Ghana, Gong. Another one between Ghana and Togo. There's 4 secessionist movements in Nigeria. Oduduwa, so-called Middle Belt. 3. 3 secessionist movements in Nigeria. And Biafra, of course. And 1 secessionist movement in Cameroon and Bazonia Republic. Look at our West Africa region. Look. There's about 4 in Congo itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 6 in Congo. But this one is illegitimate. This one is just a land grab. These people trying to take this part of Congo is a land grab. There's secessionist movement in Angola. Secessionist movement in Namibia. Hey, everywhere. There's which one is? Let me see. Which one is this one again? There's secessionist movement in Zambia. I think this is another one. I'm not sure. There's Cape part of South Africa wants to break away. That's where most of the white people are, of course. In South Africa, there's 3 regions that want to break away. Is this Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe. There's a secessionist movement in Zimbabwe. All over Somalia, between Somalia and Kenya, secessionist movements everywhere. Somalia, 1 secessionist movement to the north. I think they want to call themselves Puntland. Secessionist movements, 2 in Kenya. Hi, look at secession. Even the South Sudan that just broke the other day, there's already secessionist movement within it. Ethiopia, several secessionist movements within Ethiopia. I mean, the thing is, Central African Republic now the Fulani in Central African Republic. That first, what they're doing in Nigeria today, they first tried it in Central African Republic. They tried to steal Central African Republic, but it failed. So now, because they've lost, they are now fighting for their own secession in Central African Republic here. Even in Egypt, there is secessionist movement in Egypt. Libya, there's two secessionist movements, the Tebu and the Tuareg. They are fighting for their own part of the thing. Let everybody go. In Mali, there's secessionist movement. In Mauritania, there's secessionist movement. This one is even North Sudan, Darfur region, another secessionist movement. Look, this secession, there's, like I said, there's 55 African countries, 45 secessionist movements. Do you know why this is happening? This is happening because as long as we maintain all these European African countries, we're just serving European interests because these are not African countries. What's happening now is the original African countries are fighting to emerge from European contraptions holding them down. And this map will get more and more messier as time with time. Let's watch. And this is the way forward for Africa. Until we erase these European borders and begin to draw our own, we are not going anywhere. In fact, we are stuck firmly in reverse gear. So, this fear of breaking up Nigeria is irrational. Because what's happening is only natural. No man can come and create a country for you and also dictate how you live in that country or control how you live in that country. What's happening now is natural. And, you know, I have this gripe with ardent Pan-Africanists that when they see something like this, to them it's actually a bad thing. Oh, Africa should be united instead of breaking up. They don't realize that as long as Africa remains these European countries, what Europe did in creating these countries was they hid enemies within. Enemies within to keep sabotaging the whole thing. And as long as Africa remains a European construct, Pan-Africanism will never work. What I'm saying is, let's break up all these European countries, reconstitute our own regional federations or confederations. Yeah? Then start Pan-Africanism. Then start a new African Union. I keep asking people, why is the African Union today, or the OAU before it became the African Union, why did they've never done anything? What have they ever done? Because they weren't designed to work for us. We need to get rid of the European or Eurocentric legacy and create our own. That's what we need. We sub-Saharan Africans need to do in this 21st century. So when you see countries like this breaking up, you create obsessive Pan-Africanists. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's for the better. And for those Nigerians who are obsessed with our population, 206 million, the most populous black nation, the economic potential of 206 million people. Look, 100 million of those are in poverty, and 100 million of those in poverty are in the north, and they don't want to change. They like it that way with their Islam. If you think you can change them when they are actually the ones changing you, forcing Islam on you, destroying your schools and education system, then I don't know what kind of dream world you're living in. If you cannot see that since independence, and even with the so-called Western education and all, these northerners refuse to change, and you from the south are sat there in some sort of arrogant mindset, thinking that all you need to do is build them a few schools and they will change, and then you begin to realize this 206 million economic potential. I'm sorry, but you are dizzy. You need to sit down and get your head straight first. What you need to do is to begin to realize that what you need is a reorientating of your paradigm. We need to reorientate towards our brothers in West Africa. at least to Ghana, and maybe Ivory Coast, Liberia, Senegal. Yeah, Liberia, Senegal. Because we're all the same people from history. Now, I doubt Cameroon, with their president, even knows what's going on. But we need to form a new alliance, a new bloc, the Gulf of Guinea, possibly including Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. We need to form a new power bloc, the Gulf of Guinea. This is what you need to start reorientating yourself towards now. And all these countries with secessionist movements, it's high time let everybody self-determine. There's no point trying to cage everybody together. You cannot postpone the inevitable forever. So, one Nigerians, I hope you've seen the history of your national name. I hope you've seen that you are actually nothing but a nigger. And I hope you've seen that this is what and how Britain intends it to be for you. Now, the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to just look the other way, pretend like you didn't hear anything or you haven't seen anything or you don't even know what's going on? The question is, what are you going to do?